Hey, what's going on YouTube land? This your boy TJ and welcome to my YouTube channel, Wrestling Nostalgia, where I give my reviews on the WWE shows and PLE events. And today we are going to be reviewing Clash at the Castle, June 15th, 2024. Oh my goodness, this is a great event. And before I get into my review, just go ahead and give that thumbs up, a like. That helps push my video through the algorithm. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Clash at the Castle. This actually was a pretty decent event. We start off with our opener, which I'm kind of shocked that they started off with this match, the I Quit match. Cody Rhodes, the WWE Undisputed Champion, putting up his championship against AJ Styles. Yo, they start off hot and heavy. Cody Rhodes is not playing any games. He already starting with striking and just beating AJ Styles up, and then it kind of goes back and forth with them trading blows more than anything in this match, because I mean obviously this is a grudge match. So as they going back and forth in the match, I remember at one point in the match, Cody Rhodes drop kicks AJ Styles out of the ring, and then they wound up fighting in the rafters. Then they wound up fighting at the, I guess you want to call it the gorilla position. And I was like, is that Triple H? So they fighting in the back, and they wound up finding their way right back into the ring. They ended up like fighting, and then Cody Rhodes was in firm control up until they got back in the ring. I remember Cody Rhodes did like a suplex, but he wound up dipping over outside of the ring, and then this is when AJ Styles ended up having the advantage in the match. He wound up doing 2 brainbusters on the announcer's desk, and this is when AJ Styles is in firm control. He is beating him up. He wound up getting tables, chairs as well in the match. Then I remember he was jaw-jacking with Cody Rhodes' mom. And Mrs. Rhodes is not playing any games. She is jaw-jacking back with him back. And I remember when the second time when he did it, he wound up like putting his hand on her. I'm like, now you know better than that. She wound up slapping him like 3 times, and then he wound up getting the chair. And I'm like, I know you ain't about to hit that old woman with no chair. You better calm down. So then he gets back in the ring and getting some handcuffs. And I'm like, oh my goodness, he into some kinky shit. So he gets handcuffs, he handcuffs Cody, beating down on Cody after this. He wound up getting a chain wrapped around his elbow, trying to do the phenomenal elbow with, you know, the chain. But he ended up getting a face full of chair while he's trying to set up for this move, and he jumps on the ropes, and Cody throws the chair at him, and then he winds up going through the table. Go to the end of the match. Cody Rhodes ends up putting him in handcuffs, and he winds up unhandcuffing himself, and then he just beating him down with a steel chair, and then he asks the referee, did he want to quit? He says no. Cody Rhodes gets steel steps, and then Cody Rhodes makes AJ Styles says, I quit. And then he hits him with the steel steps anyway. So Cody Rhodes successfully defends his WWE Undisputed Championship belt. But when he went up to the arena where the stage was, Solo Sikoa was right there, and then they wound up locking eyes. The rest of the bloodline wound up attacking him. Randy Orton and KO come out, and they help Cody Rhodes, helps him with the bloodline, clears them out of the arena. Yo, and then that's another thing. Before I forget this, I seen how Randy Orton was looking at Cody Rhodes' championship and the way he was like touching on it and things like that. And I'm like, now Randy, if you about to go heel, just say that. But I love the fact that they didn't forget about Randy Orton in this, and they're doing like a slow burn of their feud. Because I remember also he did that same thing when Cody Rhodes won the championship at WrestleMania the first time. And I was like, oh yeah, they are about to do a slow burn for their championship match down the line, and I can't wait. I hope it happens at SummerSlam. This match is way too big to happen at Money in the Bank, so hopefully at SummerSlam they tear the roof down in the house. In this next matchup, it is for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill putting up their championships against Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Woo! This match was a whirlwind. It started off with Jade Cargill, Shayna Baszler, and Alba Fire in the ring at the same time. They are already trying to gain up on Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill is fighting back. A good majority of this match, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair were in control up until the heels of the match came up with a game plan to take them out of this match. They ended up teaming up against Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, the four of them, and they are beating down on Jade Cargill on the outside of the ring. And then earlier they took out Bianca Belair, sending her into the steel ring post. So now with those two out of the equation, the champions, the heels of the match can focus on each other. So they do that. So they outlived their alliance and they ended up beating up on each other finally, up until Bianca Belair finally comes to, and they did like a spot where the double team move on the ring post, a suplex. And then this is when Bianca Belair finally gets involved and does a superplex to Zoe Stark. And then she finally tags in Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill tries to do a high risk move and it didn't pan out. She ended up slipping on the ropes. I don't know if it was like too slippery or all the sweat from the previous match or something. Like, I don't know what happened, but she ended up slipping. And then she ended up having to change movesets on the fly. She suplexes Shayna Baszler. Then she ends up doing, like, this was crazy because she wound up kicking Shayna Baszler and then powerbombing Alba Fire. And that was actually really, really good. And then all of a sudden Shayna Baszler does like the Kirifuda clutch. And it looked like to me that Shayna Baszler made Jade Cargill tap out. I'm not sure if she was like letting her know that it was too tight or what it was going on, but I guess the referee asked her, did you quit? And I guess she said no, I don't know. But the match continues. So then this is when she wound up getting her down on the ground. It looked like she's about to pass, but Bianca Belair ended up doing a 450 splash to break up the pinfall. And then towards the end of the match, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair hits that double team move where Bianca does the DDT and Jade Cargill does the German suplex. It looked like they were about to win the match, but Isla Dawn ended up German suplexing Jade Cargill out of the ring, and then she wound up picking up the pinfall over Shayna Baszler. And now, 1, 2, 3, your new women's tag team champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, they are celebrating with their family members that are ringside because this is their homeland. And they are elated, and it looked like Jade Cargill after the match was really upset about this decision. And I'm glad that she had Bianca Belair by her side to cheer her up, and she was like, you know what, keep your chin up, there are brighter things on the horizon. And I hope so, because I don't know why, I have a really good feeling that Jade and Bianca are not done with the tag team women's championships. And to be honest, they have established a little bit more pristine to those women's championships in the short time that they did hold those championships. I just wish they would have went to NXT and faced Jericho and Lash Legend. That would have been a really good match to me, but we're gonna see what's gonna be in their future for Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. In this next matchup, it is for the Intercontinental Championship. It is Sami Zayn putting up his championship against Chad Gable. With the Alpha Academy, only 2/3 of them. Which was Otis and Maxine Dupree. Why she out here with the limp knee and he still brought her out is beyond me. They start off with collar elbow tie-up. They ended up trying to jog for position, and Sami Zayn gets the better of this situation, and to the point where he throws him out of the ring. And then Chad Gable had enough. He slaps him, and then they kind of get a little bit more serious. They exchange several holds amongst each other. I remember at one point in the match, Sami Zayn ended up getting caught into a ankle lock. Another point, Sami Zayn got caught into a crossface, and then he wound up switching over and putting Chad Gable in the crossface. And towards the end of the match, Chad Gable ended up trying to make Maxine Dupree do, dirty deeds while the referee wasn't looking. He hands Maxine Dupree the Intercontinental Championship belt. He chokes Sami through the ropes, and then as the referee is reprimanding him, he wants Maxine Dupree to basically hit Sami with the championship belt. She doesn't do it. He wound up reprimanding her, and he was like, look, you don't never do what I tell you to do every week. If you're going to be in this Alpha Academy, you're going to have to pull your weight. No, I'm sorry. Oh, my God. I just be messing up so bad. So as he's talking to Maxine Dupree, Sami Zayn is gearing up to hit his haluva kick, but Chad Gable moves out the way, and then he ended up getting a German suplex, only to get a near fall. Sami Zayn, a little bit while later, he tries to do a moonsault, but he ends up getting caught in a ankle lock. And I remember at one point, Chad Gable accidentally chop blocked Maxine Dupree because of Sami Zayn, bumping him into her. And Otis is like furious about this. And as Chad Gable is getting in the ring, and he wants basically for Otis to do dirty deeds as well, while the referee wasn't looking, to basically beat Sami Zayn up. Doesn't do it, and he winds up picking up Maxine Dupree and leaving the ring. This leaves Chad Gable open for an attack to get hit with the Helluva Kick while he is distracted with his Alpha Academy people to get hit with the Helluva Kick. And 1, 2, 3, Sami Zayn retains the Intercontinental Championship belt. Whew, I tell you one thing, I'm so sick of them keep doing this thing with Chad Gable where they keep teasing him with the Intercontinental Championship. And at this point, this is what, the 3rd time he done lost? And it's just no coming back from this at this point. I feel like they should have just pulled the trigger and had him win the Intercontinental Championship right here now, and then probably did like a rematch at Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and then have the feud in there, and then had Chad Gable go over. But even if they're doing a SummerSlam match, why would anybody really be behind this feud at this point, being as though that Chad done lost 3 straight times, and even though he didn't lose directly at the last pay-per-view, which was King and Queen of the Ring, it's like at this point, I mean, there's nothing really there anymore. Like, he lost. Like Becky said,
get to the back of the line.
But like I said, I really do want Chad Gable to win that Intercontinental Championship. I feel like if the end game is to get rid of the remaining members of the Alpha Academy and then put the Creed brothers and Ivy Nylund, it's no point of him losing this and then, I guess, kicking them out. Like, he could have did that after he won the championship, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not the booker, like I always say. We're going to see what WWE is cooking up with the Alpha Academy. In this next matchup, it is for the Women's WWE Championship. Bayley putting up her WWE Women's Championship against Piper Niven with Chelsea Green at ringside. This match actually was pretty decent. It wasn't the absolute best, but this is the best matchup that I've probably seen out of Piper Niven in a long time in WWE. She had a lot of stinkers, to be honest, but this match actually, I feel as though that Bayley kind of got out-wrestled in this match. But nonetheless, they start off with Piper Niven getting the best of Bayley, with her outbeating her in strength, throwing her out of the ring and everything like that. Bayley and Chelsea Green end up getting into words, and she slaps Bayley while the referee isn't looking. Bayley was getting a little bit the best of Piper Niven. She ends up stomping on Chelsea Green's hand, and Chelsea Green is cussing out the referee, and she said, "You didn't say that!" And she's all poking him and everything like that, and then he, gets her out of there. She's out. Piper Niven gets the best of Bayley majority of this match, to be honest. I remember it was one point where she steamrolls over Bayley, and it looked like she squashes her. And I remember another point in the match where Bayley hit a belly to Bayley from the middle row, and she would have gotten the win here, but Lucha Chelsea, or Nacho Chelsea, they called her, gets involved and distracts the referee. Bayley only gets a 2 count, but then she winds up drop kicking Chelsea Green, and the other referee, I guess, takes her out of the match. Make a long story short, Bayley ends up getting hit with a sidewalk slam, and that one outside of the ring, whoo, it looked pretty nasty. But Bayley ends up finding a way to win, which she ends up doing a crucifix driver, and 1, 2, 3. Bayley barely escapes with her WWE Women's Championship. And like I said, to me, I feel like Bayley got out-wrestled in this match. Bayley is definitely one of the most underrated horsewomen that WWE has ever had. And I just feel like, I don't know why, it feel like she kind of getting lost in the sauce, like she's just like an afterthought. Because if you look at some of the WWE posters of the PLE events and stuff like that, she's not on there, and she's the champion. Like, she's kind of treated like an afterthought. But we're gonna see what her booking's gonna be after this. But I do feel like SummerSlam, yeah, count your days, Bayley. And finally, we are here at our main event, the World Heavyweight Championship match between Damian Priest, the reigning world champion, versus Drew McIntyre. Whew! I'll tell you, this was actually one of Damian Priest's best matches thus far in his world championship reign, and probably one of his best matches, probably just period throughout his WWE tenure here in the company. But without further ado, they start off with the Collar Arrow tie-up. Drew McIntyre get the best of him, and majority of the first half of this match, he is laying it on thick on Damian Priest. Damian Priest gets a little bit more offense in up until when he tries to do a high risk move where his leg got stuck, caught in between the middle and top rope. And Drew McIntyre sees this and starts wailing on him and kicking him and everything like that. Then he ends up finally getting him escaped from the ropes. This is when he starts beating him up a little bit and then suplex him in the ring. Majority of this match, Drew McIntyre definitely got the best of Damian Priest. Damian Priest still fought a little bit, but Damian Priest still was not trying to let go of that world championship, and he definitely fought back. Towards the end of the match, Drew McIntyre was on the middle rope, and then he got hit with the Hurricane Rana on the top rope by Damian Priest. Damian Priest ends up getting hit with a Claymore kick and 1-2 kick out. Yep, had you fooled. No, he did not win the world championship right here. He winds up kicking out, and I remember the referee ended up getting out of there because in the midst of Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest fighting, he ends up almost getting smashed into the turnbuckle, but he jumps out. But he ends up still getting smashed into and then knocked out of the ring. Drew McIntyre hits a Claymore kick, and here comes the referee. 1, 2. Oh, it's CM Punk. Yes, he was not going to count no 3 count for no Drew McIntyre. Are you crazy? That's as big as all. So he said, yeah, 2. Yeah, he kicked out. Yeah, you saw that. Yeah. So he ends up choking out CM Punk in the corner. CM Punk low blows him. He leaves. He gets out of the ring. And then this is when Damian Priest hits a choke slam, South of Heaven, or whatever you want to call it. 1, 2, 3. He retains the World Heavyweight Championship thanks to the assist of CM Punk. Whew, I tell you one thing. Worse than a Repo Man and worse than a woman scorned. Oh my goodness, you do not want CM Punk on your bad side, and he really meant that because in your hometown, remember, this is the second time actually that Drew McIntyre lost in his homeland. And I don't know what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw, but I know that Drew McIntyre is not going to be happy, and he's definitely going to let CM Punk know it. Comment down below, how did you feel about the PLE event Clash at the Castle? I actually really enjoyed it. I'm gonna be honest, the first Clash at the Castle actually was better to me, just to me. But this PLE event definitely did deliver. Comment down below, how did you feel about Clash at the Castle? And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Help me grow this channel. I see y'all going crazy in them subscribers, and I really, really appreciate it. And as always, peace, TJ, I'm out.